In today's video, I want to share with you another 5 mistakes commonly made by new shrimp keepers and tell you how I would avoid making them. Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Richard and I'm a fish and shrimp keeper based in the UK. So mistake number 1 is not knowing which species of shrimp you're getting. Now typically there are 2 main species of shrimp that most of us will keep. There's the Neocaridina shrimp and the Caridina shrimp. And whilst on the face of it, to the untrained eye, these 2 shrimp may appear damn near identical, the Neocaridina shrimp like hard water with a higher pH. They like lots of dissolved minerals in their water. The Caridina shrimp, on the other hand, like soft water with a low pH. They like fewer dissolved minerals in the water. Now my tap water naturally comes out hard. It has a high number of dissolved minerals. It has a high pH. My pH is about 7.6. It's perfect for Neocaridina shrimp. They thrive in my water. If I were to buy some Caridina shrimp, I would have to constantly battle my natural water parameters to keep those shrimp happy and comfortable. I would need to use RO water and find ways to extract the dissolved minerals from the water to lower the pH. Now this is pretty tricky. On the other hand, if my tap water were naturally soft, naturally low in dissolved minerals, it would be perfect for the Caridina shrimp. If I wanted in that situation to keep Neocaridina shrimp, I would have to add minerals to the water. I would have to try and raise the pH. The problem here is, if you just go to your local store and unwillingly pick up half a dozen Neocaridina shrimp and you don't know the structure of your water, you don't know if those shrimp are going to thrive or die. And the same if you were to pick up Caridina shrimp. So mistake number 1 is not knowing what type of shrimp you're buying and whether or not they will work well in your natural water. Now mistake number 2 is surprisingly common, and that's failing to cover the intake to your canister or hang-on back filter. Now the problem with canister filters and hang-on back filters is they have an intake pipe with a strainer at the bottom, and the strainer is perfect for stopping fish getting sucked in. But it's absolutely useless when it comes to preventing shrimp from being sucked in. You'd be amazed how often a shrimp will be on that strainer picking at the algae, picking at leaves or bits of food caught, and then it's gone. It's sucked into the filter, and almost always that's the end of that shrimp. This is such an easy fix. All you need to do is source yourself a filter intake sponge, and the intake sponge goes over the strainer for your particular filter. Now the intake sponge does 2 things. First of all, it prevents the shrimp from being sucked up into the filter, where they will die and you'll quickly run out of shrimp, and it's particularly a problem for baby shrimp. But also what it does, an added benefit, is it prevents bits of food and leaves and other bits of detritus getting sucked into the filter, where they will ultimately sit and rot and potentially spoil your water quality. Intake sponges are amazingly cheap. They cost a few pounds, a few dollars to buy. They slip over the intake to your filter and they solve no end of problems. Now mistake number 3 is not feeding your shrimp enough food. You'd be amazed how many people contact me and say, "Why are you talking about feeding your shrimp? They're scavengers, they're clean-up crew, they're just there to eat all the leftovers." And whilst they are scavengers, whilst they are detrivores, they will clean up the uneaten food, the fish poop, the leaves that are breaking down. That's how they survive. But if you want your colony to thrive and grow and be bright and colourful, you want the number of shrimp you have to multiply over the months and years, you need to feed those shrimp. You need to add a sinking food like a pellet or Repashy gel food. You need to give them frozen or live bloodworm or mosquito larvae. For your shrimp colony to thrive and grow, you need to make sure their nutritional needs are met. I can give you a 100% cast iron guarantee. If you target feed your shrimp with a good quality balanced diet, they'll be more colourful, the colony will be stronger and healthier, and they will multiply faster. You'll be amazed how quickly 10, 15, 20 shrimp can become 100 or 200 just by ensuring they get a proper varied diet. Now mistake number 4 that I see a lot is people constantly tampering with their shrimp tank. Shrimp don't have to have the perfect conditions to survive. What they love is stability. Shrimp love to live in an environment that is basically left alone. You'd be amazed how often I talk to somebody and every day they're changing a plant, trimming this, adding this, rearranging, doing another water change, mucking about with a filter, tweaking the temperature. Whilst water changes are an important part of fish and shrimp keeping. They do help prevent the buildup of nitrates and other waste. Water changes aren't always the best thing for the shrimp. The shrimp love the water to be stable. You don't need to muck about with it all the time. You don't need to be constantly playing around and tweaking and changing. I'll get comments from people and they might say something along the lines of, I bought 10 shrimp from the store, 6 of them died in the first week. What did I do wrong? And I start a conversation with them, and in that week they had them, they changed the temperature 3 times. They swapped the filters over. They carried out 2 water changes. They added some more plants. They took 2 rocks out. They're constantly mucking about with it. In my experience, for a happy, healthy shrimp colony, you need to allow the shrimp to just be. Stop mucking about with the tank and just allow their water to become stable. Now, mistake number 5 I see all the time is people overcomplicating the hobby. I know there's a whole industry out there. Stores want to sell you stuff. Online retailers want to sell you this doodad and that what's-in-my-jig. People will tell you how hard it is to keep the shrimp and how hard it is to make them breed and all these things you have to do. And what are the joys of shrimp keeping is it's such a simple hobby. You can have a small bowl with a few shrimp in it and a few live plants, and that's as complicated as it needs to be. You can add shrimp to your guppy tank, or maybe if your betta will allow it, you could put a few in your betta and just leave them be. We don't have to complicate the hobby by constantly doing this and that and mucking about and changing this and adding those and buying these. It's a beautiful hobby. It's a simple hobby. And so often I see people overcomplicating it. Get your shrimp, feed them well, and enjoy the hobby. There's no need to overcomplicate it. In fact, one way I see of people constantly complicating the hobby of shrimp keeping is banging on about copper. Copper's going to kill your shrimp. Copper in the food, copper in your pipes, copper in your fertilizer. It's a prime example of how people overcomplicate our hobby. And if you want to know why you shouldn't be worrying about copper, watch this video next. Thanks for watching.